Hello, this is High Templar with my new Total War Warhammer Mechanics video, and today we'll be doing the summary of Vortexes spell. So Vortex spells are actually quite interesting. They are very powerful in tabletop, not that much in Total War Warhammer. However, they do have their uses, like seen here. And I showed you some tests before. Now let's go to the summary and to the hard statistical data. So firstly, we have a flame storm with a cost of 26. When attacking unarmored targets, the average that overcasted flame storm does is 22,000, which is very good indeed, with 864 average per mana. That is quite decent. However, if you attack the same flamestorm, when you attack heavy armored units, doing only 6,100 and doing only 234 damage per 1 mana point. Mind you, those results and with Burning Head were pretty well, they were pretty lucky. Most of the spell actually got into the unit, so it's actually a bit less, but still pretty impressive. Then we have Burning Head. Burning Head dealing for 18 damage overcasted with additional area of attack, enormous 15,000 damage. Again, 800 damage per mana, which is amazing really. However, to hard targets, only 3,000 on average, only 177 damage per mana. What that means? That means Burning Head does 0 armor piercing damage. While Flamestorm does some, Burning Head does absolutely 0 armor piercing, and that's not best. Then we have Purple Son of Xerxes, which for 12 mana deals 8,200 damage on average in the tight formation, in the tight unit formations, 685 damage per mana. And very similar for hard targets. That means Purple Son of Xerxes is actually all armor piercing. Then we have Golden Hounds of Gehenna, which are doing slightly, for 15, they are doing slightly less than Purple Sun. And for hard targets, also slightly less, I mean twice as less actually. So Golden Hounds of Gehenna, slightly armor piercing, armor piercing mostly, some non-armor piercing damage actually in this spell. Pretty solid, but a lot less effective than the Purple Sun for the same mana cost, dealing less damage for more mana. Then we have Chain Lightning. This data would suggest that it actually do the same, mostly armor piercing but some non-armor piercing damage. The reality is actually that the Chain Lightning doesn't deal any non-armor piercing damage. This is the fluke of the test. So this was taken from the actual database. This spell does only armor piercing damage. However, it doesn't do that much. Similar to the Hounds of Gehenna. Then we have Banishment, and the Banishment does deal pretty nice damage to the soft targets. When overcasted, it's doing 22 for 22 mana, doing 9,000 damage, 400, pretty similar to Hounds of Gehenna and Chain Lightning. However, also still very effective to the units that have armor, sometimes dealing as much as, on many cases actually dealing as much as 12,000 damage. So the Banishment is dealing armor piercing damage when non-overcasted, but when overcasted it deals additional non-armor piercing damage only when not overcasted. And then we have the Curse of the Bad Moon, which quite obviously, that is my mistake, sorry about that. Quite obviously from the data you see that it's dealing only, again like Flamestorm, only non-armor piercing damage. and it's not very effective. And it's not very effective to soft targets, it's not very effective to hard targets, it's just pretty bad. And there are a few reasons for that. So also we have different speed and different turning availability for those spells. So for example, some spells do seem to go away, like the Burning Head or the Chain Lightning you can see right now, and some spells are kind of staying put. And this is based on the basically every spell is moving at some point. For example, Hounds of Gehenna is moving very, very slowly compared to other Vortexes. And also there is a probability of when the movement will change the course and maximum angle of when basically the course change. So the Purple Sun has pretty much the highest angle of 120 that the spell can change in every, if my memory serves me well, every second or every 0.8 seconds even. That means it will change the course a lot, and it will change course by a huge amount of radians basically. But that also means that this spell will more or less stay in the same area, because it will change its movement a lot, turning left and right. It will go pretty much in the same area, whereas Burning Head will go faster and will go change its angle up to 90 degrees, I believe. It is possible to change. So it will go, if it go all out of the units, it's very unlikely to go back. So as I mentioned before, so the Banishment, Purple Sun of Xerxes and the Gehenna Hounds are very, very predictable for the Vortex spells, that is. So those guys will mostly stay on the targets, whereas Flamestorm, Burning Head, Chain Lightning and the Curse of the Bad Moon will not. And there are some slight differences between them, but this is your general idea. Now, the Burning Head can be used effectively against non-armored units, dealing a lot of damage, it would seem. And non-overcasted version also deals some damage. I do test here the versions that I think makes most sense, because Banishment deals additional damage when overcasted, Gehenna has additional area, and Burning has additional area when overcasted. Curse of the Bad Moon, actually it's not stated in the tooltip, but also does have larger area when overcasted. But overcasted or not, it's pretty bad spell. So yeah, this is pretty much all I wanted to say. Some of these spells, like flame spells, are very situational, to be used mostly on soft targets, but the problem is that most of the soft targets are actually not that expensive. Whether in multiplayer or in the campaign, this will be like your Marauders, Spearmen and what's not. If you are dealing 15,000 damage to Marauders, you are not breaking your enemy as much as dealing, say, 5,000 damage to the Chosen. So it seems like the Purple Sun is always the best Vortex spell in every situation, although the Banishment is also pretty good. But the Purple Sun seems to stay on the target for the most time, and it deals a lot of damage, and it deals lots of armor piercing damage. So you can target it at a group of Great Swords, you can target it at a group of Graveguards, whatever, it will work. Mind you, these spells are only to be used in very specific situations, when the units are pretty clumped up, like during the sieges, when the AI doing, well, exactly what you can see on the screen. This is what AI do if you are besieging a city. Also, if your enemy is, if you are playing a very epic battle and your enemy is clamping your units, or he is actually defending, you flanked him and he is making his units come closer, this might be a very effective weapon, more effective than any other spell. Still, very situational, mostly to be used in campaign, not in multiplayer, because there are not many occasions. I do know players that do exactly that, and I will use those spells against those players, because those players like to clamp up their units, and in that situation it's just beautiful. I mean, just imagine dealing like 12,000 damage to their elite units, taking down 2 of them pretty much for 12 mana. That's amazing. I mean, you cannot get that anywhere else. But it won't be very useful in the most matches when your enemy will just not do that. So this is it. I hope you like it. If you did, press like, comment if you will, and see my other videos in Total War Warhammer, in Total War series in general, my mechanics videos, my DLC analysis and speculation videos, but also my Let's Plays in Total War series and other games. Thank you for watching, and see you later.